Omagyanati Mahandasya Gyanangada Salaka Tatsul Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guru Namaha. So the prayers of the introduction. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Lati Swapandikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guram Vaishnamascha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragnatha Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parichinaya Sahitam Krishna Chaita Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Adita Sri Viksam Samscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopisa Gopikanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kancha Gorangi Radha Vrindavasari Visabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamai Hari Priye Panchakalpatripascha Kripa Sindhubeya Evacha Patitanayam Pavanavayo Vaishnuvayo Nama Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We'll just do it together once. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mataji, you can just read the verse and the translation. Yeah. You said you were very energized. End of last week, you came tired, but you were very energized at the end of last week. So,
Madhya Yaksena Prakritiya Suyate Sa Chara Charanam Hi Tuna Nina Konteya Jagat Vipari Vartate.
Wonderful.
Can I read it?
Yes, read the translation.
This material nature is working under my direction. Son of Kunti, seriously.
Which is one of my
and it is producing all moving and unmoving being. But it's true, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again.
Cool. It's okay.
Oh my God.
Did she miss out one lot of words?
Yeah, she might have a million edition. So, Puja Mataji, do you want to have a go? Read out the translation.
Should I read the shloka and the translation?
Yes, you can read both if you're comfortable. Yeah.
I read it a lot. Maya Yakshiyam Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetu Nane Konteya Jagdhi Parivartate. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. I don't know the same.
Yeah, the meaning will be slightly different, just very slightly different. So it will just may miss out which is one of my energies, because it was then done again by BBT. Steve Rummel, do you want to have a go? You have a go?
Those big words.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Sina.
Yep.
Rakitri. Rakish. Rakit. Sinyati Sa. Karakaram.
Yep.
Utiyam Inena. Nkaya.
Yep.
Shagara. Via Priya Viratani.
Yep.
Something else. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings, under its rule this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again.
And Brady Prabhu.
Maya Daisena Prakite Suyate Sa Characharam Setuna Anna Kuntaya Jagat Vipari Vartate. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again.
Maya Dekshana Bhakti Siyate Sachartatam Atunaya Konteya Jagat Vipavarte. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Hare Krishna. So, Steve, what do you get from that translation? What do you think the main point is? But it might be easier with my with the BBT translation. I'll just give you that one. Christian?
Translation, just read the translation.
Oh, you can just try and explain the first bit of that translation. Krishna is saying that.
I'm not sure what you're asking me to do.
Oh, just explain the verse. Like, what's the main point? What's the
I suppose reading the purport itself will explain the point.
Yeah, but he can do it. I'm confident he can do it reading the verse.
The soul, he controls everything, the soul, we just keep going on and on and on.
Absolutely, he controls everything. He controls his material energy and his spiritual. Yeah, he controls the material energy. That's the point. Yeah, it's that simple. That's it. You know, that's what
You're asking some scientific explanation.
It's literally. Yeah, okay. Now, the reason we're looking at this verse is because we're discussing chanting today, right? Chanting the Maha Mantra. So we need to understand what we're doing when we're chanting the Maha Mantra in order to get engaged in it properly. If we don't understand what we're doing, then we just making noise, basically. We're just making noise with the beat, right? So just a little bit of background on what's actually, in terms of spiritual science, of what's going on. So Krishna is controlling material energy, okay? And the way he's doing this is, do you know what an atom is? Yeah, you know what an atom is, okay. So atoms are spaces in the atoms, right? Which scientists don't know how that works. How the atom and the electron around the atom works, keeps kept afloat. And in Vedic, in Puranic, which is the Puranas, like the Bhagavatam, the explanation is given as to how this material energy comes about. And what happens is Krishna can, when he manifests himself as different manifestations, he can basically do 100% manifestations after manifestations without losing any difference between himself and his manifestations. So he will basically, there'll be this might be there. Sorry. Hello? Was it you? I thought that was the food. So what happens is this is. No, must be the food. Hello? Hi. Yes. Yep. Yeah, just come inside. There's a door on the side. Just come inside. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Just the front. There's some cars and there's a little door. You can see. Someone's coming outside for you. Hang on, just hold on a second. Just 1 second. Normally just leave it there. Yeah. No. I'm going to simplify. So this is an egg here, an unfertilized giant egg, which is the material substance. Or the Mahatattva. Yeah? And what happens is that that and a Vishnu form enters into that, and it creates multiple universes. And Krishna can do infinite expansion. Like you see, he's dancing with different cowherd girls. He just keeps multiplying himself. And then he keeps multiplying himself in each universe to create a Brahma, right? And inside that, he then multiplies himself again to create the four-armed form, which is in the heart of every living entity, basically there like an ongoing diary guide, going, this is what this guy's done today, this is what this guy's doing tomorrow, this is what his tendencies are. So they can eventually try and help them back to Krishna, out of the material world. But also everywhere in the material energy, when it moves, is also inside every atom as the same four-armed form, right? So in fact, this entire material energy is actually controlled by him, which is what you've just said in that verse. Yeah? Totally controlled by him. Okay? So all the hairs inside you, all the kind of muscles, the kind of legs, the toenails, these are all atomic, these are all particles, chemicals, which at the basis level have the Paramatma feature inside, making sure they all work according to science. The scientists got very interested in this. How is it all perfectly working? This chemical combines with this chemical, this combines with this chemical. But Krishna's allowing that. He's in the heart of the Super going, you want to play God for a bit in the material world? I'm letting you do that. So you carry on playing with my toys. You come into my room, my bedroom, imagine we're all 8-year-olds, and you come and play with my toys. Yeah? Until you get fed up and bored, and you realise that's not good fun, and you go back to me. Yeah? Now, the thing is, also in the Bhagavad Gita, we have this thing people call Mayavadis or impersonalists who kind of misuse the text because they don't want to engage with Krishna as a person. You know? Because partly because Krishna doesn't want them to, because they might create huge offences if they do that. So they understand from certain verses, as we do, that Krishna is present everywhere, as you said, and he has knowledge of everything. So he's known as Abhijana, the one who has knowledge of everything. And the reason he has knowledge of everything is because he can perfectly expand himself, and he's every subatomic atom, subatomic level, he's there as the Paramatma, right? He knows everything that's going on, he's in everyone's soul. So when two people meet and do a business deal, he knows what the karma is, he balances that out. So here he is everywhere, in his room, in the carpet, everywhere, right? And he's all conscious of that, he's totally aware of his presence everywhere. You know, it's very difficult for us to understand because we can only understand one body, but he's known as the knower of all bodies. You know, in the Bhagavad Gita, and later chapters describe all knowing. Now that means if he's conscious everywhere, like if a kid is in a supermarket and goes off to the toy section, and the mother goes, "Jamie, come here!" Right? What does the kid do? Grumpily goes off because he wants to get a toy, so grumpily goes off back to the mum. Right? So when you say Krishna's name, Krishna's like this kid, he's everywhere, he's in every atom, right? He's in your body everywhere, right? As you say Krishna's name, Krishna's like, oh, over there. And he can hear his name in infinite different places. Right? So he's like suddenly awake, he's like, what's going on there? Someone's interested in me. Oh, the mature world is interested in me. Oh, let's go and have a look. Maybe they're trying to get out of here. You know? Are they saying it angrily, are they saying it offensively, are they saying it out of love, or innocently? That's why whenever you say Hare Krishna, you're always going to progress. You know? Because Krishna's totally aware. Oh, trigger. So basically he has arranged that somehow the first trigger has happened for that person to start. It might have taken 50 births, but they're going to start their process back to them. That's why this corner is a very famous story of a guy who's denying everything about Krishna, who's interviewing Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was like, who are you denying? Krishna. And why don't you like saying Hare Krishna? Well, it just sounds ridiculous. Well, you said, does it sound ridiculous from your mouth? The guy would go, Hare Krishna. And of course, through this interview, what Prabhupada was doing is making him say Hare Krishna like 50 times, right? So he was like purifying this guy. Because Prabhupada knows that Krishna is actually present everywhere, inside that entire guy's body, in 100 million different places, right? And that's why, when we're chanting, we're basically turning on this, like, oh, someone's talking about me. Like that kid in the supermarket, oh, my mum's calling me. Yeah? So that's what you're doing. Yeah? Now, depending on then, when you've got his attention, depending on how you're then calling on him, so the mother's like, Jamie, you've been really naughty. So Jamie's like, I don't really want to go to my mum. No, you know. Depends on but if you're calling with love, I start calling more and more love and more affection. He goes, okay, well, I'm going to sort of, my consciousness is infinite. I'm going to sort of focus my concentration over here, a bit over here. This guy's really just doing something for me. Over here, over here, over here, over here. That's what's happening when these people start to chant in a more purifying way. And then he's saying, okay, this guy's trying to make some effort, I'm going to help him. He's trying to come back to him, I'm going to help him. So basically what happens is, Krishna, if your chanting is, let's say, 85% rubbish and 15% good, Krishna's going to go, no, okay, you're trying, I'm going to make it 40% good, rather than 15%. And you keep trying, I'm going to make it even better and better. So what happens is you have to put in a little effort with sincerity, and Krishna is going to do a lot of work. Because mostly in the material world, everyone's just like, let's go and have a drink, let's go and party, let's go and watch TV, whatever. They're not that interested in you, you know. So, but this kind of Abhijana, this all-knowing aspect of him is immediately engaged in japa. So when you start getting really, really pure, the Krishna actually goes, you know, I want to hang around. I want to hang around this guy a bit more, you know. And in the room, let's say 8 people in the room are chanting, 2 of them are chanting in a really sincere way. Krishna's actually there. There might be 2 different sides of the room, because he's there everywhere. He's like suddenly focused himself around these guys. Oh, that's lovely. They're singing my name. Oh, this is great. You know? So our ability to do japa sincerely is also a reflection of our, or not a reflection of our understanding of the infinite power of Krishna. To suddenly be there and give mercy. Okay? I don't want to do it. You know, that's all because you don't understand how merciful Krishna is. As soon as you do it with a little bit of effort, he's already there in you. He can see what you're doing. And he's going to suddenly empower you in a way you cannot imagine. You know? That's why people who do 1 round always end up, you know, with sincerity, but they do it every day, Krishna will then multiply that. All the way up to 16. As long as they're doing it every day, that consistency, showing that sincerity. Because he keeps coming back, saying, there's a bit of, it's like, you know, if you keep leaving if you're a grandpa, you leave a chocolate bar there, the same place, the grandkids come around every weekend, they'll eventually go to where that plate is and see if there's a chocolate bar there. So he's going to keep, what's happening with that one? Ah, okay. Yeah. So, and then you'll get to a point where you're just sort of doing it and you kind of will know that he's there, you know, which is a really freaking out experience, you know. And then it kind of, they say when you get to a point, when you do japa up to a particular level, you just want to do more and more japa. So then it goes like, okay, you're here, okay. And you kind of go, okay. When you get to 16 rounds, it won't be like, I've done 16 rounds. There'll be a moment in your life when you go, you won't want to go to work. You'll be doing 18, 19, 20, 21. And they're like, the cab for work's coming, I'll be 5 minutes late, 22. That will happen. Because once Krishna's there, that billions of material lifetimes, that soul's journey is coming to an end, right? It's basically Krishna is with Krishna, so it doesn't want to it's going, I don't want to go back to the material world, don't want to go back to the material world, don't want to go back to the material world. And that's a really important place to get to, right? Because once you're at that place, you know, what will happen is, and I'll be humble because I'm still on this journey, so I'm saying, you know, I don't want to say, like, you know, I've covered a lot of ground or anything like that. I'm still learning, you know. But sometimes I do japa. I sometimes do japa slots 11 after doing the morning session. So you go from 18 to 24 rounds or something like that some days. And it's because you can do a few hours work, but you have to go back to the holy name because Krishna comes. Krishna is the holy name. He can be his name as well. You know, that sound vibration, he's in the sound. He can appear in the sound. Like he can appear in a little hole in the side of a laptop. He can appear anywhere, in any form. So you're just really aware of that. So you go, and then it becomes I've got to do my duty, and that's that you're starting to develop a really the kind of relationship you need to have go back to the spiritual world. Because what the gopis are thinking in the spiritual world is, my husband's asleep. I now need to go down to the river and play with Krishna. You know, they're thinking about it all day when they're washing stuff. And what's going to happen to your work is, you're going to go, oh, well, I lost this piece of paper, or this happened, the boss yelled at me, but you don't actually care. Right? Imagine you're one of these guys that goes to work that's obsessed with computer games. Right? And these guys, there's one unique thing about these guys. You can yell at them, you shout at them, and go, actually, their life is about playing Xbox. So they're just there to do something. And then they go home and say, now I'm back to, become alive. They go, and it's like that with Krishna consciousness. You'll get to a point where it's like, okay, whatever, I'm working, because you figure out Krishna will always find me working food, it doesn't matter, but now I'm going to go back to Krishna. And that's where you want to get to in this life. So you want to get to a point where that's your main relationship, that's your Xbox that you're addicted to, you know. And it's not difficult because you don't have to do all the heavy lifting. Krishna will do that for you because of his infinite mercy. You know, you've only got to sort of do a little bit and then do that. So what I'll do is I'll do. Have you got beads, Mataji? No. So I've bought you. I have a spare bag, which is a lady's bag, which is new. You know, so it's even got a label on it from the temple in London. So it's got the beads in there, so you can have that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's one more with you, Binaji, if later someone wants to use it. Did you buy this specially?
No, I have spare, so that's you can have that. Take it home.
Thank you.
So if anyone else would like, you got. I didn't see. So I'll just take out my beads. So the first thing from that is, you know, you actually to understand this is to understand. Sorry for Steve. We're just not just gonna chant, okay? So chill for a moment. We're gonna do something weird, okay? Because we're learning how to chant. So I'm going to do some. So over time, you learn the sort of the various tricks of good chanting, okay? So obviously one of the most important things to get to, points to work towards, is to wake up consistently. Some of you are doing that, 5, 4:34, 3:30, you know, that sort of Brahma-bhuta, the kind of quiet hour of spiritual empowerment, you know, because everything multiplies itself. So that's something you should work towards. And the way to work towards that is very simple. If you don't think you can ever get into the habit, you set your alarm before sunrise, particularly in the summer. You go and look outside for 2 minutes, you look at the sun, and you go to sleep. Because the sun will change your body clock, sunlight. You go back to sleep, it doesn't matter if you wake up at 8:30 a.m. and then rushes to work, it doesn't matter, you just do that. If you see the sun early in the morning, your melatonin goes up earlier in the day, at night, and you start yawning, you know. If you're watching, I know, Amazon Prime or whatever, you know, suddenly you go, oh, I'm feeling sleepy because you've seen the sun earlier, right? It's like going to another time zone, that's what your body's doing. So you learn to wake up early that way, okay? And that's going to help you. Yeah? But initially that's not so important, it's important to get this right. But what will happen is, as you get more experience with this, there will be occasional days where you have to, because of work or something, you have to stay up late. It will happen very rarely because you're very focused on your Krishna time. So as you go on, it won't happen that often. But if it does, you will have already learned all the tricks to do all that. So I'm going to do an example of myself, which I'm going to role play and act, right? Of if I haven't slept properly, firstly, and my mind is a bit all over the place, I've woken up really groggy, you know, and I'm going to try and chant. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to exaggerate and act that out when we're chanting, okay? So it doesn't matter about doing it. So I will do it as if, right? So it might be easier if I just had the beads out in the bead bag for this purpose. Okay, so I will do, now when I sit down, I first, after I do my prayers, I will assess where my mind is. So I go, sleep quality, because there are different ways of doing japa properly depending on where your mind is, you know? You might do some breathing exercises to get the oxygen going. And then you go, okay, it looks like I've had a horrible night's sleep for some reason, 4 hours, not enough sleep, you know. And therefore my japa, I know like in by round 4 I'm going to be like a little bit. So I'm going to have to be now proactively aware of that. So this is what I do, okay? So I go, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. If I'm really struggling, I'll conduct with my left hand. So I make sure I'm not make sure I make the sound properly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now it's got to round 3, fast forward, 12, 15, 16 minutes, and I'm feeling a bit of pain because I haven't slept properly. So like, Hare Krishna, what's happening in the work? Hare Krishna, oh, what's up? I would do something early. That's not happening initially when you're doing it. So what you do is you just Hare Krishna, Krishna Mind's drifting, Krishna's here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Mind's drifting. I've got to go and put the thing and make the porridge off Krishna's here. And if it goes too much, just wait it. Right? Don't do a bad bead. Right? Krishna's here. Do it again. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Now, what happens with this method, rather than just doing like eventually someday it will happen right if I'm tired, or not do it kind of badly, is what you're doing is your brain is learning to get stronger with pulling the mind back. It's almost like a muscle exercise because there are clusters in your brain of neurons that develop and do this. So the more like, it's like if you want to play a scale really fast in piano, you do it really slowly first. You don't try and rush it because and your fingers will eventually get quick, right? So initially, like the first few years, you don't want to kind of go, you know, Hare Krishna, the mind goes. You want to kind of go pause. Okay, let me teach the mind to keep coming back. Let me learn to pull it back. Okay, that's more important. So, and as more you practice this, pulling the mind back, the better you will get at pulling the mind back. It's unsurprising. The better a kid practices the handwriting, the better the handwriting gets, right? It's just one of those things. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to act out. We're going to pretend we haven't slept at all, right? And we're going to exaggerate our mind wandering. And I just want you to tap so every fourth beat of mind wanders. Do 4, and then go. Krishna's here, and then do another 4 beats, and let's just do 12 like that. If that's all right. Just wait for everybody to catch up. That's right. Yeah. So we're just doing 4, and then you're going to tap and go, Krishna's here. Calm down, bring the mind back. Just say, bring the mind back, Krishna's here, and do another 4. You can keep your beads in your bag. I was just showing what we're doing. Yeah, for you. So Puja Mataji, you know, you don't use the finger after the thumb here. You just rest the beads on the third finger, and you just pull the thumb like this. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, nice and slow. Yeah. So we'll do this first, and then we'll do the second point I want to make after this, which is an important one. So you can start and just do it, but do it a little bit loud, you know, because I need to be purified. If I don't hear it, then you won't be helping me. So.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram.
Stop. Okay. The exercise was to exaggerate getting distracted and go, Krishna's here. I want you to say Krishna's here, right? Because then when you go home and a couple of days from now you're struggling, I want you to do that. Because then that will make you understand that Krishna is actually here, right? Because otherwise it will turn mechanical very quickly again. You know, I want you to get away from the mechanical side of it So if we just do it 4 and then go, just stop, like we're in the theatre, there's an audience. So do 4 and then stop and go, Krishna's here, and then do another 4. Just do that. Okay? Just do 4. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
That's it,
just twice. Good. The reason I'm doing that is because I call it the drift. This just happens, okay? And if someone says it doesn't happen in the first 5 years of doing this, they're just, well, they're amazing, or they're not telling us the truth. So drift is when you go Hare Krishna, and then the mind goes, and it will go onto something that's happened the day before, like, oh, the dog had to be put outside, and I go Hare Krishna, and actually what's happening is now it's the time to process what's going on with the dog. Hare Krishna, Krishna. And the reason I make you do this is you go and do that, and it stops. Because as soon as you start practicing this, you will get to a point, or like Hare Krishna, wasn't that football match really good last night? You know, but the reason I'm making you do this is so that you start practicing this, and this is actually just a biological thing in the brain, right? So as soon as you start practicing, the brain goes, oh, I'm going to pull myself back. And what will happen within just 3 weeks is you'll slow down doing that, and you'll actually realise there's more focus. And you start doing that, Krishna is going to come in himself and accelerate that process. Okay, so you're going to it's going to get a double effect, right? But he's waiting for you to do the 50%. Like when you're teaching a baby how to walk, right? You're not going to sort of hold its hand all the time. You're going to want it to do a little bit on its own, so it builds up its legs and all that stuff. So that's what I want you to do. You know? There's nothing wrong with the mind drifting, because it's natural. When you're first learning, practicing stuff, right? It's supposed to happen, right? Because the brain is actually designed to basically go, this is a new kind of style of focusing me. What if there's a predator? So I'm going to drift. Because it's biologically, evolutionary designed to do that. There's nothing weird about it, right? But what you're now learning to do is tell the brain, there's nothing to worry about, just focus on this, You're just pulling it back by doing that. If you don't pull it back, you're going to end up in drifting, which is, you'll do a round or 2 rounds or 3 rounds, and literally what's going on is TV programs, I'll go fuel my car, or I'll run out of milk, all this stuff, or the tiles broken in the house, and plumbing requires it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We don't want that, because Krishna's going to go, well, this is not fun. I want to play. He plays all. His main job is to play. You know, he wants to have fun. He doesn't want to come there and well, it's not his mind's all over the place, and it's not fun at all. It's like, you invited him there, and you don't turn your back and go, sit down, I'll deal with you in 20 minutes. It's not what he wants. Okay. So, but we have to learn the habit to do that. It's not easy. We have to force ourselves. It's like if we lost the hand we wrote with, and we had to write with the left hand, for example, if we're right-handed, we'd have to put an effort in to get back up to normal standard, right? So that's what we need to do. We need to put a bit more effort in that. It's not like Hare Krishna. So that leads on to the second point, okay? And this is something that this happens, okay? And you can be honest with me, because I used to do this, and where people get to round 14 or 15 or 16 rounds, right? So the whole thing has become a little bit of a mechanical process. 16 rounds, okay? Or could be less than that. What will happen is, if you go to like a busy temple in the morning and everyone's chanting to see this, let's say everyone's about round 14, they'll start doing this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. What's actually happening, it's not a verbal thing. This is here to count. The hand, you're actually driving the hand movement. That's become the predominant activity, not the chanting. Okay? But that's not what's supposed. This is just supposed to lie here and be relaxed and just count for you to make sure you've done your 16 rounds, 108 times 16. It's not supposed to be. It's just an exercise of I make noise to my hand moving. It's the other way around. Okay, but this is a common problem because what happens is the focus starts becoming the hand, and the more I do it, the quicker I'll get out of here. You know, and Krishna will go, I guess that's zero interest in me.
I do it with my leg.
Huh?
I do it with my leg.
Towards the end.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the last few rounds. Yeah, so you just need to kind of control those things because what's with the signal you're sending to Krishna, if you think of Krishna as a guest, is like he's come around for an hour and a half, right? It's an hour and a half or whatever, 2 hours for japa, 16 rounds. He's come round. Imagine I come round to your house and you start going, look at the clock in the last 10 minutes. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, whatever, yeah, all right, yeah. Start moving your leg. And what impression do you, well, if you came to my house and I did that, what would you think? You think, oh, he just wants to get rid of me, right? And that's what you're telling Krishna. Krishna's already there, he's present. And he's becoming a little bit interested because you're sort of chanting his name, you know, and he's also the ultimate prima donna, you know. Krishna's have every quality in him. He wants people to go, come on, you know, and look at me, you know, and he doesn't want that, you know. So you've got to be wary of that and go. But that will come as well as that comes with realizing that this is Krishna time, and Krishna time is going to be my eternal pastime for infinity. That's my Krishna. So actually, I'm going to be with Krishna all the time. So you don't want to rush these last few rounds. Or, you know, if you're doing 3 rounds, you don't want to sort of go last round, you know, because it's really bad impression to your guest, right? You want to keep it constant. I've said that before, right? So that's another important thing. Make sure the mouth is driving the whole thing, the sound, not the hand, yeah? Because that's going to limit your progress. It's not going to attract the Lord that much. Okay? And then, if you're starting off and you're struggling to focus, the easiest thing to do is to put a picture of Krishna or Radharani in front of you, some sort of picture. And so when you look up, you just got a picture there. Yeah? And then you go, Krishna's here, and he's here, and he's like, okay. And there's some sort of reciprocity going on, that awareness. You know? So that's also important. The other thing is, I think I've said this quite a few times, is this is Krishna in his sound form. Okay? So you want to listen to the sound. Okay, you wouldn't go and see a deity and close your eyes like this and do worship, because that would be really weird. If I went to a temple and went, people think it's me. That's normal because he's so weird. But if you did it, they'll be like, okay, he's on something, you know, because it's a very strange thing to do. So the sound form is like, if it's sort of, yeah, it's got to be audible. You see people doing this after many years. But if you see a Swami chanting, they don't chant like that. There's a video of Kesha Swami, I think I sent you. Yeah, and he's enunciating every beat, right? He's not doing. Krishna's like, what is that? Has he sort of said my name? Did you say my name? Do I have to come towards you? For that one, do I have to come towards you? Do you actually say my name? You know? And you don't need. Krishna doesn't want to put on a hearing aid to kind of know whether you're chanting properly. Okay? It's like, it doesn't make any sense, you know. So you wouldn't go up to a deity. If you wouldn't go up to a deity with your eyes closed, don't chant without hearing the whole mantra, okay? Because again, that's going to slow down your progress towards doing it perfectly. Like, you will be able to do this so easily, perfectly, within no time if you just look at these few rules. Okay? But the final point I'd make at this stage is if your mind goes. One of the best ways to stop it from wandering, is to just stop and go back to, I think it was 4 beats ago, you know, and I'll go back to that point, because that's sincerity. It's not a mechanical task. If you're actually trying to be with Krishna, then you're going back and doing those 4 beats again. You know? And sometimes I had to go through phases and I go, look, to get this right, I'm going to have to wake up at 3:30 to get this right, because I've got to go to work at 7 or do some work at 8 or whatever. So I had to put that back to do that, you know. And sometimes you might have to do that to get the habit right. Maybe on Saturday, because you don't have to go to work on Sunday, you can wake up at 3:30 or 4 if you're doing the 16 rounds and go, okay, this is going to be a chance to try to do as many beats properly as I can. You know? Krishna immediately has the higher level of sincerity, the more he comes and helps. It's kind of weird like that, you know. It's like having if you're pulling. And imagine an invisible force in a tug-of-war race. You know what tug-of-war is, right? It's sort of people pulling a rope to see who wins. Imagine that you really try and pull, and there's an invisible bodybuilder that comes along and starts pulling even harder. the more harder you pull. It's like that. So the sincerity is really, really important. Okay? Yeah? You can't sort of do it half measured. So skip a few rounds, skip a few rounds. Now, the way I always do it is I always do 16 and a half to start with. And if I'm doing round 17, I'll come back and start again on 16. Okay? Because I say to myself, even if I've done it perfectly, I still must have messed up somewhere. Right? I must have missed you, Krishna, somewhere. You must have left me for a moment. You know, I'm only immortal, and I'm only in a body in a material world. I don't have that much power. Right? The material is just so powerful. My mind cannot have been wrong all the time. You know? So you got to have that humility to go. I can't be perfect. That's very important, and that attracts Krishna as well. So, you know, and then when you do 16, sometimes I do. Like, not saying you should do this yet because it's not. It depends on what stage you're at. But if I've done a really bad day, morning, I'll have what I call punishment rounds. Where at 4 o'clock I play until 5 because for me it's not been good enough. You know, but that comes later. And that's not so important at this point. You know? So the most important thing is listen to it because it has a huge impact. Because he's in every subatomic particle. He's everywhere in your body. Your body is made up of Krishna. There is nothing here that isn't Krishna. Okay? Nothing is separated from him in that sense, although it is. It's kind of odd, right? So as soon as you say his name properly, he's like, oh, what's that? He's looking straight away. Like that kid who's messing around in the supermarket. Jamie! Huh? Mama's calling him. Sure, you better go. Yeah? It's like that. You immediately react. Okay? So we can try one round. But do it slowly, try and listen to it. Just try and listen to it. And it does help having other people around you because you can listen to them doing it as well. You know? And you get a sort of double effect. Now, would you like guys want some water? More water? Mm-hmm. Do you been in a bus or something? You must have water?
I'm good. I
sure.
have.
Oh yeah, cool. I'm going to have some. So, I mean, just start and see how you get on that round. But just see how many times your mind wanders. And we can be open about it, you know. If I'm just doing spontaneous like this, there's a chance that my mind will wander as well. Hare So brilliant, we'll wait for you, don't worry. All good? Cool. Still need to finish? I'll chant with you. We'll chant with you. Let's get you around up. And we'll chant with you.
Yes, I think I got my two rounds in.
How many have you done today now? Victory over Maya. Good, okay. What did that feel?
It's really hard to keep the feet still. Because when I play cartels, I always
I guess
use it as a rhythm thing.
it's more if you're not doing it and you're doing it at the end, that's no problem. If it's the last 2 rounds, because then you're trying to rush. That's the only thing. If you're doing it all the way through, that's your way of doing it. That's right.
Yeah,
that's
when I
right.
play cartels, it's my rhythm thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Just you don't want it at the end make it a rushed thing, like you want your guests to leave. You know? Christy, how was that? Was it right?
But then you can think of it as like syllables. Krishna, 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 Krishna.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah. That's right. Well, it's supposed to be like singing. It's not perfect like meditation actually. Sri Ramaswamy in Chant Law, I think he says that he quotes Bhakti-Vedanta Thakur. He said this is supposed to be like a little bit like a song that people sway a little bit. You know, it's the Lord. It's like fun. You know, and what should happen over time? And I never thought this would happen to me. You know, is that it will become an addictive exercise, and you'll almost like grin all the way through it. You'll be grinning all the way through it, almost like grinning. Yeah, at the same time, obviously, you will develop humility and reverence and a deeper understanding that you need Krishna's help to get yourself out of here. That's quite important as well, but that comes later with a different session on the humility in chanting is a different thing as well. So, it will be effortless because once the sincerity comes in, Krishna will help you, for sure. You know, I mean, I stop my hand. I do that with my hand because I'm doing that bead again. I wasn't sort of happy with that bead, and I remember when I first started doing this, I got my chanting, my 16 rounds done to 1 hour 20 minutes. But when I kept stopping every time I did a bead badly, it went back up to 2 hours. It really annoyed me. It's going to take 2 hours. I want to do it properly. And I went, I've got to do it with sincerity. Otherwise, there's no point. But now it's gone. You know, I do it at a normal pace now, with a much higher level of focus. So like anything else, this is just practice. And it's like you want to get out the material. If you get this right, your chances of getting out of here are like 10,000% higher. Almost like certainly you get out of here. But you know, this is the core exercise of all things. You know, because the power of Krishna's own name is because the verse we looked at, the material energy is subordinate to Krishna in your body that's poisoning you. You know, it's getting your mind to go and look at that expensive TV over there, go and get worried about this, or really feel anxiety about what that person said to you. You're the soul. You're not any of these effects and causes. It's not what you are. And this chanting gets you back to what you really are, that soul, that relationship with God. And that's why it's so important to do it, try and do it as well as you can. Of course, do it every day. You want to be doing it every day. Because that's when the effects of Kali Yuga will not be on you. You know, and all your karma gets washed out. Because what will then happen is chanting is not doing anything negative, not getting rid of negative stuff. It's all now adding positive stuff on. It's adding on the deepening. It's building the relationship with God really. So you moved washing away, and now you're moving into that building a relationship. You know, and where we're trying to end up and go near is spontaneous affection. You know, that's what we're trying to. We all have our eternal relationship with Krishna, and we're trying to start to find little pieces of that in these devotional exercises. You know, I mean, probably the best example to aim for is one of the best examples in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lord Chaitanya, I think, he's doing a discussion. He's on a boat, it's doing something semi-serious, you know, and the moon comes out, and I'm sort of paraphrasing the story a little bit. And the way the moon has light falls in the water is a tinge of bluish blue. And because he's displaying the love of Radharani, he's the form of Krishna enjoying Radharani's love. Radharani is the highest devotee. Almost Krishna expanding himself as a pure devotee with himself, his consort. So as soon as he sees that blue on the water, which is almost the same colour as Krishna's skin, what do you think he did?
He jumped.
He jumped into it, yeah. He just immediately jumps into the water. No, what's gone? Okay. It's Krishna, wow, ooh. Yeah. It's like, you know, you suddenly see, you're walking past a shopping mall and you suddenly see a Krishna statue. What's that? Yeah. That's attraction, actually. You're already attracted to him. You wouldn't be doing all this stuff. You're already there. Yeah. If you're here, you're doing kirtan to do stuff. The attraction is being building itself back up again. You're getting all that removed. So you just now got to focus on getting the gardening right.
Yeah. Places there's music in the background. I hear the Maha mantra.
Yeah. Oh wow, amazing. Yeah. Because I think you're doing some real sincere stuff. From like, you know, you're doing your 16 rounds and you'll be doing it early in the morning, and you're going to get that. Krishna's going to. The more you do it, you get the 50% Krishna adding on to the power. You know, it's like, you know, if you save $50 a month, at some point it compounds up because you get more and more interest. And Krishna's adding that extra bit on, and suddenly it's looking a lot better than you yourself doing it. You know, that's what you've got to get Krishna to come and help you. And the way to do that is to attract him into that process. You know, and don't ever underestimate Krishna. It's impossible to underestimate him. Like he can get you out of here in 1 second if he wants to, but he's got to make sure you're ready for it. You know? You've got to make sure a kid has got some leg strength, a baby, before it walks on its own. You know, you can't just keep falling over. And if you end up in the spiritual world right now, you'd be like, this person said that to me, that person did this gopi didn't look at me, and it's not the way it works in the spiritual world. Everyone's only interested in Krishna, right? So your japa has to be only interested in Krishna. Nothing else should be going on in the mind. And it has to be trained to only think about Krishna. Stop it, do it again. Stop it and do it again. Because you're retraining yourself into your natural position of the soul. It's like the biggest form. It's like a rehabilitation moment. You've got 1.5 hours of treatment. That's what it is. It's basically Prabhupada used to say we're diseased. I mean, the material world for so many births, we're so attracted to the material energy. We're now taking ourselves off the heroin. It's like a cold turkey. It takes a while to get back to normality. We're trying to build that normality back into us, and what the soul should be doing. And that's not easy. If you see a drug addict and you take them off the drugs, you can't do it straight away. You've got to do it slightly, carefully, and then they'll be permanently cured. So you're curing yourself, you know. You're curing yourself of being worried about what's going on in work. That's what you're curing yourself of. You know, because you should be thinking, well, that's just Maya, really. I'm not the body. I'm not. I just was not really anxious. It's an internal part of Krishna. You know? So we'll move on to the next discussion because we've started a bit late, so we'll do another 10 minutes of a slightly different topic. Are there any questions so far?
Yeah, when we are chanting, the focus should be on no thought at all, or are you interacting with self or with God or with Krishna, or should it be like no thought, like thoughtlessness?
Well, not no thoughtlessness, no, because as you progress, you're developing a mood of humility and a relationship. So,
You
but
are
that,
interacting?
not by directly interacting. The first part of it is listening to the sound. Okay. So let's say the best way to describe it is, let's say I'm your best friend, and I'm about to become a musician, and I've written a song, right? And I'm a really good friend of yours, and I go, I'm a bit worried about putting this on YouTube. Do you want to listen to it? So you lie in bed and listen to it. But if you're my friend, you're not going to lie in bed and listen to it and go, I'm going to read a newspaper. Or let me think about my homework or my project or my boss, or, you know. And the next day I go to you, well, how did you find the music? And you go, I didn't really listen to it. Well, it was all right, it was good, you know. That's what you say to me. But actually you haven't listened to it because you've been stressed out and your mind's been everything else. So the first starting point, when you're starting out, the most important thing is getting to the habit of listening to the mantra. Okay? That's what you're going to do, because what's going to happen is you're listening to your best friend's music and your mind is going everywhere. And you want to honestly listen to the music. So you're making this music sound, which is Krishna in sound form. It's like, you know, I said, when you look at the deity, you wouldn't close your eyes. So you're not going to close your ears, you're going to listen to the sound. And that's going to take time. So you basically start off with 1 round a day. Okay? And try and make it at the same time. So the more consistencies you build in, the easier it gets. When you start a habit out, it's just doing it once a day will be the habit. And people will do it at night, in the morning, in the middle of the day. They might even do half a round and forget where it is and sort of do a round. But the consistency of doing it every day will get you to, okay, I need to wake up 5 minutes early or 10 minutes early and do a round. You know? And once you do that consistently, when you do 1, you will eventually do 16 if you're doing it consistently. Because Krishna will help. Any sincerity will be helped by Krishna. You know? But the trick is, in the process, is the more integrity you can bring to it, the faster you will develop it. So if you're like not thinking, once you do 3 beads and you're not thinking about it, you're thinking about something else, and you go back to doing those 3 beads again, then you're going to actually accelerate your Krishna helping you. Yep. So that's going to be quite important. The quality is important. The quality is almost the most important thing. You know? If you did 3 beads in the morning, but did it without your mind wandering, and then moved on to 4 beads, and then 5 beads, eventually did 108, which is 1 round, but you were consistently building it up, but hearing every time, every mantra and every bead, then you'll be fine. You know? Nowadays, when I started doing this, I was like, I'm doing 16 rounds, but I wasn't really doing 16 rounds, because a lot of the time my mind was in all sorts of stuff. I'm just getting the 16 rounds done. You know? And then once I built that habit, then I sort of figured out how to improve it, and improve it, improve it, improve it. You know? That's the way I did it. But you could also do it a different way, which is get the 1 round correct and do the 2 rounds, and, you know, which is probably a slightly better way of doing it. You know? Because it would have taken you less time to get to 16 rounds of pure. If you did it my way, it took me like 15 years to kind of do it now. You know, I started however long, 20 years almost now, doing it. You know, but I could have done it in 3 or 2. You know, if I was sincere. But I wasn't really a sincere devotee back then. I was doing it and then occasionally going to the temple and doing other stuff, and not, you know, I wasn't a sincere devotee at that point. I was a devotee, but I wasn't like really into it at that point. And certainly not as much as I thought it was. But those things will come later. At the moment, you're just starting off by getting the habit of doing it consistently every day. You know, and if you can start redoing the beads or holding the bead when your mind goes, and doing it again, you know, and then you start seeing, wow, I got a bonus because my mind drifted. I said it twice, you know, and then I was focused on one of the times I said it. And those kind of attitudes is really the attitude really attract Krishna. If it's that kind of, you'll see the difference. It has a different taste because he comes in a different way then, you know. So, you know, just let him surprise you. You just do your bit and see what he does, and then you'll be like, if you think he's like, it's this much sugar, it will be like up to the ceiling. You'll be amazed. Because people say, oh, I don't feel anything when I do japa, and you kind of go, how are you doing it? And then you work out their minds all over the place. Well, Krishna's not going to be there. You know, certainly not. So, yeah. But be persistent. You know, sometimes people get very close to having a breakthrough and they kind of stop. And that's often it. But that doesn't. It's like if you asked her to marry you the next day, she would have said yes, but you just stopped dating her. Kind of thing, you know. It's not a good thing.
That happened to me.
Yeah.
I feel it. I can feel, like sometimes I feel, I don't want to share this on camera. It's just, yeah, I feel.
Yeah, we can turn the cameras off if you want to say something to you.
It's just that I feel sometimes when I'm doing japa, like just now, I felt like I was trying to, what she's saying, I was trying to, then I heard him and I was getting confused who's saying who. First I started to listen to all of them, but then I saw like stairs, and I saw Krishna sitting there, and I saw, and I'm trying to reach out, and he just picked me up and put me at the last one. He said, no, you have lots of things to do. No, sincerely I was saying, why are you doing this to me? You're not doing it enough. And I was like, oh, I'm so pissed off right now. That's what I saw, like when I doing japa, and like I just saw myself falling down, and I feel like I was close, but I feel like back again. That's what I felt.
Well, that's okay. I think the important thing with you guys is you're doing it every day, and I've 100% faith in Krishna. And you're coming here, you're learning stuff all the time. You go to different talks. I think that you're going to crack it because you're just trying. And Krishna will, will let you crack it at some point, and it will happen sooner than you think. It's probably something there that after a while, what are the last minutes? We have these big moments, and then suddenly, boom, you're at another level, and it's just that kind of consistency. Ultimately, everything we do in the material world is limited. The physical aspect of it is limited. Because even the temples we build, at the end of the day of Brahma, they're not going to be here. Some will die, explode. There's going to be an end to them. But we're just using all these facilities for what the material world is really for, which is to get us back to the spiritual world. That's why we're here. And everything from our glasses to, Krishna sees everything. Pradeep went and picked you up, and Prabhu, and that there will be benefit to Pradeep from that, and all the little helping other devotee, and all these mini things will add up. At some point, a lot of things will crack because you won't realise all those things, all these little things you're doing. One day you'll be doing round 5. You might go from doing 5 rounds a day to doing 18 rounds a day, because what's happening is all the devotional service you've been doing, it's just bang, Krishna going, yeah, you've now hit that level, well, that's fine, and the next level. It doesn't often work in a linear way. It works in a circular way. You sort of go up and down, but you eventually come up. Krishna's got a different plan we're all different. So we're all having different journeys of how we get there. I think the important thing is also listen from lots of other people that are very senior. Especially the Swamis in ISKCON. They give pretty good advice, and some of them were very open, and they also never believed they would ever do one round perfectly, and they're now running around the world talking about Krishna's pastimes, and it shows you don't know what Krishna has planned for you. You can't sort of go, because if you say, woe is, I'm useless, I'll never do this, well, how do you know the future? You're not all powerful. You don't know your limits, you don't know anything. You don't know your previous history. Krishna knows all that. You can't have this unlimited faith in God's ability. It's not. You can't limit God the way you can limit yourself. Those are things to remember. I don't know if we'll have. It's up to you. I can start the bit we're going to talk about next week now, or we can pull curtains now. I can do it on 10-15 minutes if you want me to. Okay, cool. So now we're going to do a little bit, moving on to a slightly different topic, which is quite a tricky topic, so it might take us a week or two to kind of break into this. So I'm just going to head to my iPad. Be careful here. I'm going to bring up a verse, which you won't have, but I'll read it out to you. Hopefully this is going to help you. Okay, just bring it up. All right. I'm just going to tell you what it is. Number 16. All right. So the verse by Krishna says this verse in the Upanishad that the material world is perfect. So everything that's perfect from the Lord emanates perfectly. I think it's the first. I think it's the first verse. I know it's the invocation of Prabhupada. Yeah. So Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnasa Purnamagati Purnasa Purnamadaya Purnamivishashti. So everything that emanates from the Lord is perfect. So this idea of perfection. So then we always have this discussion of, is the material world perfect? Krishna's saying it's perfect because it's part of Krishna. So God, no, okay. So this is really important to understand this, okay? So a quick vote in the United States Senate. Who thinks the material world is perfect? Must be, it's got Trump in it. It must be perfect, right? Right, okay, so I'll step back now. Quite the answers.
Okay.
So,
just to, I mean, it's designed like a perfect prison for you, like a perfect jail.
yeah.
For like, if I think like after listening to a few other people as well, like a good jail is not like it makes you want to live in it, but it's designed in a way that you want to get out of it.
Yeah.
So it's designed in
Good,
a manner that
yeah.
you,
Yeah.
at some point you will be like, okay, I'm done with this. Maybe that's my interpretation.
Yeah, you can get it. Steve, what do you think? Don't care. I think you're the right lines. That's right. What's the purpose of the material world? Have a think. What's the real purpose of it? Okay. Oh, sorry.
To surrender to Krishna.
Yes, that's the answer. Perfect. Yeah, perfect. You have confidence. you get the answers right. You have confidence. So let's say that last week, this week, you came in interested and you were like, this work and all that stuff. But let's say work was wonderful every day. You go there, you have the time of your life. You know, you love champagne. It gives you they have champagne for lunch and oysters. Work. And imagine you eat that and you enjoy it, right? Well, that's what materialists would think, right? What a great place, right? This is important. We're having an important discussion. This is important. So, what would happen to you if that wasn't the case? This is like an existentialist question. So, sorry.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah. So then you go to work, and let's say you like chocolates, for example. So a little bit less offensive, chocolates. You love chocolates, and every hour at work, they bring the world's greatest chocolates to you. And you love work, it's the best work in the world, you're enjoying it all the time, and you get bonuses, the bonuses you can get discounts to expensive clothing stores, and you love it. It's just so much fun, right? So what would happen to you if that's the life you're living? Bear in mind what we just talked about, of course. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So you keep on getting what you want or desire at work, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So at some point that want is gonna come down, like it's gonna diminish at some point. Like you will like it initially and at a peak, but then at some point it's gonna go down and then you'll be like, no, I'm not, even that won't matter for you.
Hang on. I think this is why I wanted to do this. You're jumping the gun. You're jumping ahead too much. If what you both said was correct, this has to be a perfect prison. If it's a perfect prison, people don't want to like the prison. Otherwise, what happens is the prison is a great place to be. The world becomes full of criminals, right? And that's not the point of the criminal justice system. It's not to have everyone wanting to go to prison. Right? It's when everyone to come out of the prison and go, I never want to go there again. Right? And you said, well, the point of the prison is to find Krishna, and find your surrender to Krishna. So if every day is perfect and wonderful, you're enjoying having the time of your life there, in the prison? What's happening?
Before getting Krishna.
Oh.
For me.
What?
If every day is perfect, I have experienced it. So I have seen if every day goes really smooth and everything, gradually Krishna goes away. It just goes like
Krishna goes.
Yeah, your chanting gets slowed down, you relax all the time. That's personally.
That's what I was waiting to hear. Yeah, that's what I'm going to hear.
Personally.
That's it. Yeah.
It's just
very.
Mind takes over like this. I swear I have felt it, and
Good.
that's the worst.
Okay.
Because when you face the negative side of the work, I have faced the positive and the negative.
Yeah.
No, I don't need positive anymore.
Yeah.
I'm happy the way I am right now.
Yeah, very good. And thank you for being so open with that. That's not easy to be that transparent with that. You know, yeah, that's correct. I think if Krishna wants you to go back to him, and you want to make that effort, do you want to have the time of your life every day, in the material sense? No, you don't, because you're basically starting to enjoy being in a prison, right? So now we've discussed over the last few months why the prison exists, how it works, what karma is, and how people, what the kind of souls that are ending up here in Kali Yuga. A lot of them want to be here forever. They want to be in a prison. So they're very naughty souls, right? They want to enjoy for themselves. And they want to try and make the prison more comfortable. They want to go, well, you know, if I feel nice to the garden, I'll get some cigarettes, and maybe my bedroom, my prison cell will be more comfortable, and maybe, you know, I'll be able to paint the walls of my prison, and then it will be, I can live here forever, you know, in the prison. And it's like you didn't start believing, and you're around everyone who goes, wow, this is a great place, isn't it? Yeah, I've painted my room, you'll be able to do it in a few weeks, don't worry. You work in the library in the prison, you'll be able to paint the rooms in your cell. And it starts, what are all the prisoners then talking about? They're saying the prison isn't a great place to be. And eventually you just forget there's a world out there. It's like, well, this is it. It's amazing in here, right? And if you tell them, if they really like being in the prison, and that's everything to them, and then you tell them, they've been there for like 40 years, or millions of births, yeah, and you say to them, do you know there's actually something else out there you can, they're going to say, well, that doesn't exist. Come on, this is it, this is the game. Just having this prison porridge several times a day, you know? No, but it's not, you know? So you have to understand how lucky you are to understand this. Very rare that a soul will understand this. Because if you look at all the living entities, the trees, the plants, the flowers, the dogs, they're all living entities just like you. Forget about the body. Yeah? You've come to that point where you can make a conscious decision now whether you want to get out of the prison or not. Right? So you have to go, when you go back, we're in the prison cell, when we go back to ourselves from this prison bit of the prison, back home, we have to think, do you know what? I'm going to get out of prison, I'm going to have my parole. Okay? You're going to want it. The few prisoners that want it, you want to get out of here. You know, that's a decision you have to make for yourself in a decisive way. You know? And then you chart your routes with that in mind. I've fallen into this material world. I need to do this properly to get out of here. I need to listen to every beat because that's my opportunity to reform myself. I'm a reformed prisoner. You know? So then it will work in a different way. But the great thing about this is it's you're going to start feeling the love of the outside world, the spiritual world in the prison. Right? So it's like a prison where there's a TV which no one has access to, which tells you about the outside world, and you're one of the 4 prisoners in the entire prison that gets access to this TV by doing the japa. So you can go, oh, I can see what it's like. Wow, okay, yeah. And this feeling I'm getting. Yeah. Because if you start building the feeling, then you want to get out of here. You won't want to go back to the horrible prison porridge and the prison bed and the prison cell, painting the prison wall to make it look nice. You know? Why is it so many of the Bhagavatam stories and Chaitanya Charitamrita that we're talking about here don't think too much about material opulence and clothing and cars and that, because you don't want to paint your prison cell. Yeah? You don't want to start putting shells in there and kind of getting extra stuff and shit in there. You want to be getting out of that. Yeah? So that's what this is. And it's perfect because after many, many births, you're going to pick up more and more reformation. You know, you're going to go back to every time you go to the end of your life, you're at the parole board. Right? You come to the end of this life. What did you do this life? What did you do the last few years in the prison? Da, 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 da. Yes, you did improve some of your behaviour, but I think you need to be resentenced back again. But you're getting better. You know. Now you want the parole board to go, "Wow, you're a devotee." Out you go. That's what you want. Does that make sense? Yeah. So use everything for Krishna here, because that's the standard of getting the parole. The body, the legs, the eyes, the cameras. Pradeep's using his car to go to Kirtans and carry his harmonium, which he's now learning. So 5 years from now, he's going to do some incredible, rapturous Kirtans, and the mantra will come out of his mouth and melt everybody. You know, but the intent is there. So Krishna is going to get you out. The prison board, you know, it's like a prison board that doesn't have a lot of money, right? It wants to get you out of that. It's going to try and help you out. It wants you to reform. It gets a brownie point on how you reform prison status, you know. And ISKCON should sort of be like that, you know. It's got brownie points of getting you out of it, you know. So have a thought and think about those things. We'll talk about imperfections. Cool. Any questions on that? I hope that was a bit useful. Right, Pradeep? Water? There you go. Yeah. Cool. All right. There should be food out there, so I think we'll call it. Thank you for the mercy of your association. How's my sister?
I think this is a perfect day. Because in the middle of the week, you've done down, but I think coming here, it just... I had a headache, now it's gone. Seriously. I don't take any medication. I have to come here.
Thank you, because obviously...
Kirtan Adelaide. Leave a like and subscribe.